Hey everybody, what's up? Thanks for tuning into the Cigar Vixen channel. Today we're going to be checking out this little swag cigar here. Cigar Lifestyle is what it says on here, swag black. This is made by Aging Room. This is part of their small batch collection, and so there's some different brands within their entire line. This is one of them that's really trying to capture, again, the essence of Cigar Lifestyle. This cigar is famed to be kind of a fuller bodied Dominican, which isn't necessarily super common. There are other, Dominican cigars that are fuller bodied, but that's really the focus on in their line. This is supposed to be one of the kind of stronger ones. So it's featuring a Habano Dominican wrapper and Dominican binder filler. So like I said, it's a Dominican puro. And I'm gonna go ahead and just get right into it. It has a little foot band that we'll go ahead and remove. Gonna be using my cool little cutter that they sent to me, so thank you, Aging Room. This one is made by Zycar. It's got a lot of cool, writing on there. Aging Room, bin #1, boutique blends. Very cool. I really appreciate getting, cool swag and cool things like that. Again, hence the name swag. I really like the name. It's something that I think all of us now are very familiar with, but I think in the very beginning, it's kind of like, what's swag mean? It's one of those words that kind of needs an explanation if you're not familiar with it, but really, it's just one of those things, again, to complement the lifestyle, because that's really what cigars are about. To me anyways, they're not just a tobacco product, they are a lifestyle. It's an experience every time you smoke, and it's a nice way to just, again, complement that lifestyle. So I'm gonna get right into it. It has a little bit of a spicy earthiness to the foot. I want to say there's a hint of sweetness, but I can't pinpoint it yet. I can just kind of get a hint of it right on the foot, on the, the dry smell there. Yeah, there's a hint of something sweet, but you can definitely already feel inside your mouth. There's a tingle kind of like on the sides of the tongue that give it that little bit of spice and maybe a little bit of saltiness in there. So we'll see once we get it lit up here. But you can tell it's definitely going to be a little spicy one, because I actually got a little piece of tobacco in my mouth, and just having it swish around in there is making the mouth kind of salivate a little bit. So interesting. Looking forward to changing it up a little bit. I've been smoking a lot of Nicaraguan cigars. I just came back from my safari, so that's kind of been, filling my palate lately, and so it's always good to kind of change it up a little bit. So I figured, hey, let's go complete opposite and let's go straight Dominican. Right away, this gives you a toasty little treat. Kind of thicker, like a toasted bread. You get a little bit of a sweetness in there. I'm not getting that pepper that I thought I was gonna get, like an initial spice. It kind of tricked me. As soon as you just puff on it, it just gives you a nice little toasted, little hint of nutty. It's interesting. Not what I was expecting based on that pre-lit draw. That's always cool. I like when that happens, actually. It's a nice little surprise. Very pleasant. Nice aroma. Well, I'm interested to see how these flavors are going to develop. I'm going to get back to you, as always, after I finish the first third and talk about any new introductions of flavor or anything that comes into it. So stay tuned for that. So getting into the second third of the swag black, I forgot to mention the size that I'm smoking today. This is their VIP. This is the 48 by 4.5. So it's a nice size for example if you don't have a ton of time to sit down and smoke. This one, which is exactly kind of why I picked it today. I have some other stuff going on, so I just wanted to have a chance to sit down and enjoy a cigar, but I really didn't have, you know, an hour and a half to sit down and fully, you know, go through the experience of a longer one. So again, great size for somebody kind of either in between meetings or on the go or just looking for something brief at the end of the night. You're definitely going to get some strength. So far, this is not, to me, it's not super full on the strength side. There's a lot of flavor, but again, I don't know if it's because I have a little bit of a higher tolerance or if it's really just not as full as I had thought. Of course, when I think of a Dominican full body, you can't help but think of like an LFD, and that's kind of the strength that to me I would compare to. And so this one is not anywhere near that strong. So it still has a nice amount of strength though. So don't shy away from it if you are looking for something that is a slightly fuller. As far as the flavors though, you definitely get a mixture of some spice. So that spice did eventually come in right around the mid part of the first third. So it developed a little bit of the black pepper, almost like green pepper essence to it. But really what's sticking out on the flavors to me is more of a kind of a raisin, dried plum type of a flavor. That's kind of the forefront on where it's at so far. There's a little tiny hint of an espresso, but not a lot, just a little smidgen of a taste note so you can kind of get from it. So other than that, you know, that's kind of where the flavors are at. The construction, you know, the burn line is not super impressive. It could just be this one. I'm trying to remember if I'd smoked it before. Normally I like to smoke, you know, a couple when I do a review, but for this particular one, I just had, you know, this one in my humidor, so I just went right for it. And so again, I don't tend to really notate the burn line so much that if it's not affecting the smoke, and in this case, it's not affecting the overall experience. It's just a little bit of an even burn. But what really stood out to me was the quality of the tobacco that you can just tell. You can tell from the flavors, and you can also tell just by looking at the cigar. It has a beautiful, beautiful oil sheen. In fact, it reminded me of like if you're at the beach and you're sunbathing and you put, you know, the oil a little bit on your skin, and it kind of just has that oily sheen to it. And it's really just sticking out to me. In fact, when I was smoking it, I was just really, you know, with the sunlight, I could really see that beautiful, beautiful oil sheen to it. But also, again, the quality of all the tobacco you use, you can tell it's been properly aged, which is a big deal. If it wasn't, you would probably get that harshness. And so this one, I can tell you, does not have any sort of a harshness to it. So being that it's a little bit fuller on the strength, and even then, I personally wouldn't put it in that super full body strength. I would put it more like, you know, in terms of steak, like a medium plus kind of a thing, because it's not overly strong. It's not, to me, it's kind of just medium, but there's a little bit more strength than some of the other ones, you know, in this particular line. But again, just a nice flavor overall. I'm gonna smoke it down a little bit more and see if there's any other, you know, changes, and I'll get back with you one last time. So I'm hoping you can see all the smoke that is being produced here. This thing is a little smoke bomb, which is great. Beautiful aroma, very inviting. There's actually a spiciness that you get in the aroma itself. Overall, the flavors haven't changed a ton from that last time I checked in to now. You're still getting a little bit of spice. In fact, the spice is slightly turned up in this last third, but just a little bit. Really just kind of leaves it on the palate, but you still get a nice amount of that kind of raisiny plum type of a fruitiness to it. And the little bit of espresso that I found in the second third, I didn't really find it in this last third, but still a good smoke. Not super full on the strength, but right around the high end of medium, I guess you could describe it. But for me, again, I'm a little bit more tolerant, so I don't know if everybody would have that opinion or if it's just mine. So as always, I invite you to try it out for yourself. I'd love to hear your opinions. I want to hear any feedback that you have is always great. So Thanks for watching as always. I hope you have a wonderful day and see you soon.